What's up, everybody? Not My House is in the house. And before we get started, I just want to let you know we're going to be dropping one podcast a week now, guaranteed in your inbox. Look for mostly on Mondays, but some could be happening on Fridays. We just want to get you the content you want. This is your host, Eric, and sitting right next to me, as always, is my co-host, Zach. Zach, what's going on today, my friend?
This is going to be a fun one today. We got one of the most energetic and passionate players I've ever got to watch. He had me throwing up the X when I was a kid, and he's got a dope YouTube page too. So I just can't wait to get this one started.
Absolutely.
Let's get
Oh, hold
it.
on, man. We got to give you the intro. We got to set you up. He was a fantastic player at Pitt, where he earned 3 All Big East, and he was a Big East Most Improved Player of the Year. He went on to have a successful career playing overseas. Super excited to have him on. Black Magic himself, Carl Krauser. How are you doing today, sir?
Let's still breathing, my brother. I appreciate both of you, and I appreciate you asking. It means a lot, man. Thank you all for taking the time out to acknowledge what I've done. Thank you for appreciating what I've done. Thank you for even showing love in any remote way, man. I appreciate y'all all. It's always right over left with the best, and it's X up, man. Thank y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we even start, I got to ask about the X really quick because you had me throwing up the X when I was a kid after watching you play. You always had me out in the driveway throwing up an X after a shot. So I always thought it's because you're the X factor, but that's actually not what it means. So can you tell our listeners what the X means?
Yeah, see, the X Factor thing came later after. It came after my development with the X. We were playing out there in Rucker Park. Man, everything in New York, and me and my guy, Cook Slow, the producer, we were just talking about this, my dude. We were talking about this like, hey, back then, and he's a younger guy than me. He's like 24 right now, 20-something. So, he watched games. He's very knowledgeable of the game. But I was letting him know, when we walked out there, everybody had a borough to represent. You had a neighborhood within that borough to represent, even within that team that you were on. So you had a certain type of respect level to carry within yourself individually. So to come together as a neighborhood team in Rucker Park and win 2 championships, almost 3, we two-peated against the best NBA stars and everything. And Rucker Park, you get your name more for really being creative and being tough. When it was time, when Booby Smooth and the rest of the guys, the announcers on the mic, they got on the mic, they said, we're the Bronx. They said, we're Brooklyn at, we're Queens at, we're Manhattan at, we're the Bronx at. Yo, me and Bevon Rodman walked out there banging that X. Hey, what? And I'm more loose with it. So I'm banging it super hard, going crazy, because I always represent the Bronx and where I'm from. 10 toes, 2 feet, Lord Jesus Christ, I'm complete. But nobody's going to defeat me in representing where I'm from better than me. I do it. I'm really out there working on my game in the park. Yeah. So I can pick up what I'm talking about. And that's where the Bronx came from, having that heart and understanding we're the King Borough of New York City. And it used to always kill me when you go in the shops and stores, you see Brooklyn shirts, Brooklyn hats, this and that. I'm like, yo, what's up with y'all? Do you not understand we created hip hop in my projects, Bronxdale projects, nowhere else?
Right.
Do you understand I came from and was blessed to be in this position to talk about this? I was born there. That was kind of surreal to me as you think about it while you're growing. This all goes into the X, because the X connect around the whole globe. And that's why we show the BX love to the whole world. It wasn't just for the Bronx and Bronxdale projects and everywhere. It was for people that had love for us, because we always have love for everybody else.
I like it. Hey, I got a question for you. Your introduction to sports, was it basketball or was it baseball, or what got you into sports?
That's a good one, my brother. It was baseball. It was baseball, like the Yankees. Oh my great goodness. Those New York Yankees, the Bronx Bombers. That name right there was just like, I'm looking at my dad like, Daddy, they call them the Bronx Bombers? Like, you know what a bomb is. So as a young kid, you like, dang. So we were like different, like with our mental, like our thinking. I knew it didn't mean like a real bomb, but I knew they were dynamic, that good of a team. And they represented us in the way, like every time the announcer would say, the Bronx Bombers, we're live in the Bronx, the New York Yankees, you know what I mean, against another team, that would like send chills through me. It was like, it was crazier than hearing the New York Knicks. It's New York Knicks. It's like, it's a broad thing. You know what I mean? The New York Jets, New York Giants. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, brother, you know, everybody else. Like, I was like, no, the Yankees, they solidify who we are. They were out there winning, competing. We are out here in the Bronx. When I lived in the Bronx, in that era, it was one of the dangerous eras to grow up in those 90s and 80s. You had to be violent. You had to be smart. You had to be loving, charismatic. You had to be a person that cared about yourself and others. You had to be a leader. You couldn't be just one of the followers. So I dared myself to be different and to be a leader. I didn't want to sell drugs like everybody else I watched everybody, listen and watch what they did. And I watched every wrong thing they did so I can correct myself. Yeah. I just look at the negative so I can always receive the positive. So New York City and that Bronx baseball, Don Mattingly, Dave Winfield, all of those other guys, you know, Joe Girardi, all those other guys, they got to knock it off when they talk about Babe Ruth and those guys. You got to knock it off sometime. You got to talk about Reggie. You got to talk
Randolph.
Yeah. You got to have Rudy Randolph. They got to knock it off. Man, even Dave Cohn came over there to the throne. You hear me? Pitcher. Knock it off. Look, I'm just saying. We had a lot of greats. But New York City, when I was on that 4 train, my grandmother lived like literally 6 blocks away from New York, the Yankee Stadium. She grew up. I grew up there in Highbridge Projects, 163rd and Ogden. Yankee Stadium was on 161st. You get what I'm saying? So when me and my mom used to always go back, and then you come off that train on the 4 train, you can see and picture off of the thing. You can see the game. If you come in at nighttime, you see the lights on. It was just like something for a young project kid that couldn't afford to go to the games every time. It was inspiring to see and know that I can be a star someday, and I would never let drugs or anything else interrupt my life, or anybody else that tried to persuade me in a negative way to interrupt my life. And that's where I started with boxing, kickboxing, karate, and different stuff at a young age.
So shout out. You made yourself busy, which is good. I grew up back east. I grew up in Jersey. My dad's a Brooklyn guy. Born and raised, worked for Con Ed for years. I've definitely seen my fair share of Yankee games and whatnot. So we speak the same language for sure. Hey, I wanted to.
I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, go for it.
How good did you feel being a part of the Yankee family? Like when you're in there, like how did that feel within your body? Like when you see all the people going crazy, like in different ways, how did you feel?
Amazing. And I was a young kid. My era was the era you were talking about. I definitely saw Mattingly, Winfield, Willie Randolph, Goose Gossage. I mean, a ton of those guys. I saw Canseco his rookie season play against when he was with the A's. I've seen. I mean, I definitely seen some. I was lucky. My buddy down the street, his dad took us to a lot of Yankee games when we were kids. So I've definitely seen some Yankee. I've missed. I'll tell you one that's funny. I didn't go one time. He went, and he was at the George Brett Pinetar game.
What?
Yeah, legit. I watched a game on PIX, right? Channel 11, showing you how legit I am. I ain't bullshitting. And he came home, and he was like, "Oh my God, you couldn't believe it." I mean, no, we watched the game, but it's like, dude, it was insane. He went berserk, and yeah. So I'm a Knicks, Jets, Yankees. I live out in Reno, but I still represent New York for sure.
I'm sorry. Come on, we got it. Come on, you can't do that to me. You know, it's right there. The elephant's in the room. You put it there.
I know.
Hey, the Knicks. Woo! Trae Young, ¿qué pasó? That was crazy. Oh my! Hey, Trae Young embarrassed the Knicks, and I hate that. I'm not gonna lie, I hate it because I love New York. and I love the Garden, and I love those Knicks fans. You know, the Knicks fans are like the legit best fans in the world. Like, they don't even care. They say, guess what they say after you lose? Next year. They don't care.
He
Patrick Ewing, roll next year.
he knows how many times I always talk in morning basketball about the Knicks every year, right? That I've known
Too many times. Too many times. For the last 20 years, I'm like, they're irrelevant. Stop talking about it. But hey, Carl, I got a question for you. I'm very curious because I always loved your game. I loved the handles you had. I loved your energy. Loved how you attacked the rebounds. Just the passion you played with. So, who are some of the guys that you really studied and tried to emulate your game after? Like, who were your idols growing up?
Wow, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Big time as a basketball player, Isaiah Thomas, and I'm gonna say Tony Delk, Tyus Edney,
Nice.
Dana Burrows. I'm gonna say Jamal Tinsley. I'm gonna give these guys some love, man. Shamgar Wells, Rayford Alston. I'm gonna go back even with my man Dennis Johnson. I'm gonna go to Drazen Petrovic. I'm gonna go to Kenny Anderson. You get me? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Pearl Washington. Like, these are the guys like Baron Davis, Steve Francis, like all of those guys I'm talking about. I looked at everybody, Andre Miller, Jason Kidd, you get what I'm saying? Gary Payton, all of those different guys, like, they were dynamic in their own way. Rebounding guards, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Chris Jackson, God bless, he's still here. But, you know, all these different guys I looked at because I appreciated what they brought to the game. And there's more. There's a countless number of more players I've really studied. Like, and these people like really helped me out, because if they didn't show me that you can not only get buckets, but also certain games you would manage the game and might have a win with 7 points, 12 rebounds or something, or 7 points, 14 assists, or you know what I mean? Something different. And you had a lot of steals, deflections, a key play and for the win. Sometimes people look past that. And I thought when I was playing college basketball, like I was explaining to somebody else, man, I thought in our era, it was like it was like the older people were still looking to the younger people to be developed and play like them and be ready.
Right.
So I kicked NBA players' butt when I was 16, 17, and 18 with a broken elbow until I got to Pitt to get it fixed. I had broken bones in there. I dunked on the guy, Lee Church, against Gauchos in the big famous UDC tournament where they called me 50 plus. I fell on my neck, head, elbow. And I got an and one. You get what I'm saying? I got up, shot the free throw, and made it.
Yeah.
Who does that? But I played from that time at 17, that time, 16, 17, up until Pitt with broken bones in my elbow.
Wow.
And that's what I was saying. People didn't know that about me. I was always hurt. Every time I did this, it hurts more than people know. But I learned how to play through this. I talked to my mom every day. I prayed, and I didn't have money to get it fixed. So all this time, I was just messing it up more. But I was killing. And we didn't have the money to get it fixed. So I'm saying all of that went into the story we'll be talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just talks a lot about your toughness. And I'm just curious, how much of that was from the blacktop game? Like, how important was the blacktop game for your development as a player? Because I know you played at Rucker Park, Goat Park, the big parks. I mean, what did the park mean to you as far as developing your intensity, your skills, and just your basketball IQ? And how'd you get the nickname Black Magic? We want to know that too.
I'll answer the first question first. Yes, like being in and growing up in Bronxville projects, it was a family-oriented place, but also it was a tough place. Growing up in New York City as a whole, like I said, going to school, junior high school and high school and stuff like that, going to different neighborhoods, so I have to go to school, taking the train and the bus and stuff like that outside of the neighborhood on a different side of the Bronx. You got different gangs and stuff over there. You have black gangs, Latino gangs, and different stuff. You have the Nietas, Latin Kings, you have the different stuff, Simpson Street Posse, and all of that stuff from 6th grade on. So we have to deal with that stuff. So that toughness, yeah, because when people want to take your triple fat goose, you're not letting up because you and your brother share triple fat goose. So you're going to get that butt whipping from back here multiple times before somebody else get that dub. I ain't giving no dubs up. I don't get that. No, I'm not losing. So that made me, look, you got to get them up. And I told you from the karate, I did other stuff and I did other stuff. I used to have to restrain myself and show people I didn't know anything. Just to show. My dad told me you have to think for idiots. You can't always put your hand on people because you have to understand they might have a medical problem. They might have this, but they're just trying to act like this. So when we was playing basketball and I was in New York City in the Bronx on that hard court, my dad used to come out there and watch me play with the older people and be like, hey, stop fouling them. Hey, because I'm playing with the grown men. You know, they beating me up, man. They do, because I want to play. If I want to play with the grown men, you got to take them hits. You can't go nowhere crying. When we used to play tackle football with no equipment in the grass, you can't go up there crying when you get popped. You know what get popped is you get bang, you get hit. You get me? So look, this is what it is in New York. I'm telling you, at our age, we playing with gangsters and cold killers. We're not playing with just what happens. No, we playing with people that come out there do look like Tretch running at you. And he on my team though. He picked me. I was happy. My man Alex. I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to Alex from the 80 building. Yo, you crazy. I'm on Alex's team. What? He's like, yo, bang. I'm out here looking like what? Something crazy. So that helped me playing against grown men in the projects, playing against grown men everywhere I played since 16, 15 years old. That made me so determined. That made me so strong because I was playing against NBA players at 16. Sham Garwells and different other people, Chauncey Billups and those other people too. Like different people, we used to bring people to my park. So I used to get a chance to play against these people. And then when I traveled outside, I would kick different people's butts too. And this is what I'm saying, like people don't understand that street ball, from Fat Joe's tournament to Dykeman, to all these different tournaments out there, Hoops in the Sun, to everywhere, Rucker Park. This is where you go play. And Hoops in the Sun was before I went and played at Rucker. So when J-Bo, my man J-Bo, now answer this. Now when my man J-Bo, shout out to J-Bo, shout out to G.I. and everybody. When I was in the park, and this is what I'm telling you, I always used to hear this. Be ready so you don't have to get ready. Stay in that park working on your craft. Whatever you're doing, stay working on it. We know what the negative is. We want to see what the positive is.
Right.
I stayed in that park shaking my shadow, boy. I'm shaking the twigs in the tree falling from the tree above me. I'm shaking everything. I'm doing hot steps over stuff. You know, I'm doing just natural movements. And now they calling it moves. You get what I'm saying? We've been sidestepping to get a bucket just to get around the dude because we that thirsty to get a bucket. This is park. You get me?
Yeah.
I went in the Freeze. Freeze is a game of 32 with over 20-some people in there, 15 people who haven't want to play. And I was the shortest person. I grew up doing that. So when I got to this, I'm like, man, you better knock it off. So when we get to Rucker and J-Bo pulled up in that Cherokee and came and got me on the left side of that park in Rosedale Park, and he was like, yo, what's up? What you doing? I'm in the park. What do it look like I'm doing? I'm balling. Like I'm working on my game, champ. What? 1 + 1 is 2, never 2.5. Do the math. But it's cool. So my man did this. He said, yo, can you go to Harlem? Can you go to the Rucker? I'm like, I'm young. Like my mom wasn't with none of that. My mother wasn't with none of that. Look, going to Harlem? Nah, she didn't even want me to go to Rice High School. So she was like, no. Like, I didn't even ask. You know, this is how we do it in New York. I didn't ask. I jumped in that Jeep. This is an opportunity for me because I thought I was going to make it through to the NBA off of street ball. I didn't have any connections to anything. This is before AAU.
Yeah.
I'm like before a freshman in high school. Like, you get me? Like this, I got to play AAU freshman in high school. That's 9th grade. So I was already playing Rucker before then. So that move when J-Bo came and got me that ride on Brooklyn Boulevard Highway, I was like, Mo, I got anxious, nervous. It was like this, like your heart like this. Yo, it's bananas. When you pull up to Harlem and you pulling in and you get off the highway, you know you're getting closer and closer to those people screaming, yeah, they in there in that mic, and you're like, and this cameras, this stuff, like, and you're on the spotlight. And you're gonna have to come in there because one person is late and we only have 4 people.
Yeah.
So I got to step in for the starting point guard. We pulling that parking lot, and anybody knowing Rucker Park, and you know in New York City, and anybody been to Rucker, you pull that parking lot. God damn it! It's like hey man, it's showtime. Okay, you walk in that thing, you can see a Rolls Royce, you can see anything, you can see models, you can see anything popping in there. You're liable to see anything, stars all over the place, whatever. So it shows your heart though.
Yeah.
It builds your heart. It builds your toughness. You get what I'm saying? And it builds your camaraderie within your teammates because you have no choice but to trust your crew. You get what I'm saying? Trust the people that you with. So when you're talking and going over your game plan, developing everything, and after you do that, you do your 1, 2, 3, you know, your stuff. And then y'all walk out there as a team after everybody got dressed and y'all moving like a movement. It's like a whole movement. You got everybody behind you looking back. You like, oh, yeah. That's why we got this here. Rucker Park jersey, baby. That purple. You know what I mean? But when I got my nickname coming down, Hannibal, had the mic, I was walking in. I was scared, nervous, and anxious because I'm always nervous and anxious before every game, and I always want to do good, and I always want people to know who I am. I always want to represent my family and myself proud because that's how my uncle and my mother showed me, and my dad. So when I did, after a couple of moves, came down, getting a little comfortable, I came down and threw that thing between my legs and dropped that thing off. They said I jumped in the air, threw the ball between my legs and dropped off a no look. Same thing next play. I got that old, he's like, who is this kid? Who is this kid? Who is this kid? He's bugging. Hannibal on the mic, bugging. I never thought this would happen for me because I grew up standing on the lines like everybody else at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 12:30, 12, to watch other people play.
Yeah.
So now people are screaming my name, that old Black Magic. They remember that old Black Magic. They think it's Black Magic. No, it's like what my man Pimp named Suckback said. Say it with me now from Boondocks. It's that old Black Magic. It's like a Tribe Called Quest. Say it with me now. So it's a whole name. You give me that old Black Magic. It's not anybody else's name, Black Magic or Magic or anything else, because this one God want me. That's why that man took out the time to give me that name. So it isn't the same because he had the history and the knowledge because he's been there before. That's why he's the champion, Hannibal. That's why he had the belt. He walks around with a big, like WWF, WW joint belt, like a real belt. He's cock strong and diesel, like, and he made the song with Cameron, Harlem boy. Like, so that's why I say boy too. But there you go, family.
I have a question for you because now I'm super interested. How hard was it to play high school ball after you're telling the story you just told us? You know what I mean? I mean, explain to our younger listeners what the difference is between what you went through and then trying to play high school ball.
So, like in high school, like the fans, I mean, the some of the players and some of the teammates that were older than me, they were kind of hating on me, you know. And my freshman year, we were coached by Howie Harrison. God bless and salute to Howie Harrison. He played at Cardozo in Brooklyn, but he was an awesome athlete, point guard. But he was a great person. He used to read poems to me every time before games, but I'm speeding ahead. They told me, the guys on the team told me I didn't make the team freshman year on purpose. So I went and take their shine. You know, shout out to Dude Yada. He did it. So, hey, I played AAU. I met up and I played AAU. So it was hard trying to get on to high school basketball. And my whole freshman year, I failed off. I had no grades. I failed all Fs. I had literally all Fs on purpose because I was being an idiot. I was making bad decisions, following my brother and other people out there from my projects. They were fighting against other people from the projects because we were surrounded by Castle Hill. We're surrounded by Monroe Projects. We're surrounded by Stevenson Commons. We're surrounded by all type of people. So then we're the furthest projects away. So, like, you know, when they have problems and they have problems, I'm not just going to watch my people, whatever. And I see it in class. I was in science class and I seen that. seen my people fighting. I grabbed the book, went outside, ran outside in class. My teacher told me, Carl, you don't have to do it. What you mean? I just seen your brother, like, picture you seeing your brother fighting, and it just went past the window. You're like, what the hell? And you in there trying to learn. You're like, oh, hell no, I'm going outside. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm going the hallway, drag on different people fighting, drag on the rap, but different people in my hood. We fighting. Like, drag on grew up with me, you know, in my projects. And we went to schools together. Like, so we're going to take care of each other. We family in my projects. In Bronxville, we family. Like, literally, we family. So I don't care if you from the first, second, and the third, we connected. So anyway, that went to that. So playing in high school, it was like, when they did that, I kicked butt all AAU. I came back sophomore year. My silly butt, you'll think you'll learn. Get your grades so you can play a whole full year. No, I've never played a whole full year of high school basketball because I was being an ignorant idiot and too aggressive. I wanted to fight. I wanted to do other stuff sometime or make some other stuff because, like, sometimes I was smarter than some of the teachers. And then when a teacher looks at you and tells you they don't care about you, they only here to get a check. My math teacher said that to us, and a couple of teachers said that to us. Like, you get me? So it was like, it kind of pushed you away from trying to learn. But my Spanish teacher, she was a little cool Latino lady. She was tough on you, but she'll come at you, and she forced me to learn. So I would learn that. I would go to certain classes. But it used to piss those people off that I knew I would come in social studies and those other places and pass the test with A's and not be in class.
Yeah.
Without cheating. I'm just talking about intelligence, reading a book and gaining knowledge and doing your thing. You get what I'm saying? When they think that you're just an athlete, you're just an ignorant athlete. You get what I'm saying? They think they're going to put that stigma on you. And they was going to leave that for everybody else. And I wasn't going through that. So when I'm playing basketball, like I told you, I'm young like this. I'm young like 15, 16. I'm playing with these grown men. When I'm in practice and I'm in stuff on the team, everything's easy. Everything's easy for me. These guys are softer. You get what I'm saying? But I'm able to change this mindset. I know they're softer. You get what I'm saying? I know they think different. So I wanna approach your mind in a different way. I'm a big mental guy because I learned from different big mental people. Rod Strickland, I was watching that guy. You get what I'm saying? I was watching a lot of guys who manipulated people and to get them to play hard.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I would bring the best out of people. Even if you thought that person was shaky, whatever, I would have him looking like he was something else for a second. You get what I'm saying? That's what you got to do. You got to bring the best out of people. That's what I'm here for. God only blessed me and brought me here in this world to bring that good, positive energy and to bring the best out of people. Not to take away, not to subtract. So when I kicked butt on those teams, when I was playing against Kennedy High School, when they was number one there, Willie Shaw, J.C. Matheson, those guys, and I was dunking on them 1 to the 2, bang! People didn't even know I can do that.
Right.
And then there, I had like 40 points. I went down to Kennedy too and had like over 30 something. I went to Columbus High School, the big high school, and had 44. You get what I'm saying? I used to give people 40 somethings and like 15 steals type of stuff. Evander High School, like I'm talking about. Look, this is so crazy, right? Because of not Ricky Torres, a couple of guys, Isaiah, my man losing Isaiah, I can't remember his name. They went to LIU. Because of those guys' era, with fighting and different stuff and beating up the players after the game, because there's a lot of blood neighborhoods around. You know what I'm saying? Sex, Money, Murder, the Bloods, Soundview projects. They all around our joints, so they used to come beat up the players after. So before I got there, that's what happened. So we wasn't allowed to have fans at my games, at any games.
That's crazy.
So kids are going through that, dropping 40s, 30s. I'm ending games with floaters and teardrops on purpose from 3-point line or half court, floaters. I'm doing the behind the back, the white man can't jump. I'm doing that in the game on purpose. It's just cause, like, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. I wanted people to come talk. The biggest street ball guy that came to watch our game and seen it was Mousy. He had Mousy Dream Team at Rucker Park. Wow. But you get what I'm saying? Like, we like, it was only the girls allowed there, the girls team and the security guards.
So when it's just the security guards and the girls team allowed there and no fans or anything, I got to ask, and you also said that you didn't finish one single season of full high school basketball. So what was the recruiting process like for you? I mean, what kind of schools were you hearing from?
I was getting looked at by the Texas Longhorns. I was getting looked at by Kilgore Community College and a lot of these other junior colleges and different teams, and Hofstra University.